Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for showing up this evening, and I'm happy to announce that we have a quorum. First of all, we have a quorum because of the last meeting, we didn't have a quorum. We said this one would be a meeting, would be a quorum, no matter how many people were here. But I think we actually do have a quorum, don't we, Rhea? Rhea, I'm talking to myself.
35, we have just 35 papers, just not
That's a quorum. You know, between people and absentee ballots, we're fine. Anyway, that means we can get started. Boy, we have somebody in attending by phone?
And Adrian is
Ah, okay.
virtual, because he's still working.
And we're gonna cover three sort of pretty important topics. Well, no, two important topics tonight. The first is the election of officers, which we couldn't do last time. And then the second is the presentation of the budget. And I hope you've all taken a look at the budget. There's no budget, there's no increase in dues this year, but it's clear that we're gonna have to do some sort of increase in fees, dues, something next year, because our costs are really going up incredibly. Insurance and everything else is just, we're just getting increased to death, and so we're gonna have to come back and ask for more money. The other thing that, I'll mention it now, but you'll learn more about it at the next quarterly meeting. Think Big Network is a company that installs fiber optic cable. And we have signed an agreement with them so that they can install their fiber optic cable in Drum Point. That means that everybody in Drum Point at some point will get the, probably in about 2 years, will probably get the option of, do you want to stay with Verizon, Comcast, or do you want to go with Think Big Fiber Optic Network? I don't know what's going to be advantageous for anybody or everybody, but it's another option that will be available. And I rather suspect that once Comcast and Verizon find out that these people are digging their fiber optic cable into the community, they will probably increase or improve their services. But the company is going to come to the next quarterly meeting, and they're going to bring a large presentation, and they'll explain the whole thing. I just wanted to point out that we've signed the agreement, and you're liable to see their trucks starting to, what do they call that when they drill the holes? They don't dig, they drill. Bore, that's it, that's the word I wanted. Thank you very much. That also describes my character. No. But anyway, they will be boring and they will be running the lines. And then the last thing I want to mention is I want to thank Asha for having sat on the board and suffered with all of us for 8 years. There's martyrdom runs in her family, what can I say? But anyway, Asha, thank you very much. And now we can get started. Has everybody looked at the minutes, read the minutes? Does anybody want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
Okay.
Oh, we have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
All opposed? Quiet crowd. Yeah, the minutes are approved. Instead of committee reports, let's just quickly go right around the table. There aren't that many of us, and we'll be done. Jenny?
I have nothing.
Nothing. Susan?
Nothing.
Bonnie?
I do have something,
Oh,
but I'll be brief. For one thing, every year we have our Phragmites treatment done in the fall, and it's about this time of year that I go around and look at the different places where we have the infestation and send it to our invasive species expert. So I'll be doing that next week, and I took it out of going outside today. So. And the other thing that was interesting, and I just saw this on the Lusby, or the Drum Point neighborhood Facebook page. Somebody said that there's a poison ivy removal service called Poison Ivy Control of Maryland.com, Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, people have a poison ivy or other invasive species problem that's become apparently available in this area. And the other thing that was interesting, and you probably saw it too, there used to be a woman, or there is a woman named Mimi Bagnano Hanbury that used to be in Drum Point, and she's moved to St. Mary's County. But she said that she offers goatscaping services locally as environmental friendly way to fight poison ivy and other invasive species. So that, I mean, Ginny and her volunteers do work on the ivy every year in the winter time. But maybe we could get the goats in to do it. Because I'm sure the goats don't get tick bites.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, I thought that was interesting, I thought I'd pass that along. If anybody's interested in goatscaping, you'll have to go onto the Drum Point Facebook page to contact Mimi Bagnano and
Interesting. Jack,
Well, can you talk about the budget now?
you want to talk about the budget now? Does anybody object to talking about the budget now rather than under new business?
That's the only thing that I've got.
Go for it.
This is the budget in your packet of papers. Have a quick look at it. It's put together by Finance Committee, which is 8 of your neighbors. We put together, starting last March or April, and based it, you'll see, mostly on last year's budget. But there's a lot of new costs that have come up that really, as Tony mentioned, are something we're going to have to deal with in the future. One is the tremendous increase in insurance. Don't necessarily know why, we haven't had any claims, but insurance has just doubled. And there's a few other items like that we just have to deal with.
Jack, have they looked somewhere else or just sticking with what you did?
Yeah, we had a big effort to shop for new insurance. And, you know,
Who are we with?
Rita, you want to address that? Could you?
We have been with Nationwide, and their premium for the year came in at almost triple. You can say, or paying about 6,000 or so, came in at almost 18. So we did some shopping around, and State Farm was able to give us a premium of just under 12, 11 to 12. A lot of insurance companies will no longer insure HOAs, and I don't know why that is. I think sometimes HOAs get lumped in with condos. And condos are a more difficult thing to insure because they're insuring buildings. But in any case, we did shop around.
So while it sounds expensive, twice what we're paying before, it's better than 3 times.
And what does that insurance cover, Jack?
that insurance is our directors and officers insurance.
The building,
Building.
liability insurance, everything that we've always had covered is included.
Sort of like a package deal.
Yeah, it has an umbrella policy and so on. I don't have the numbers with me to give you exact breakdown.
But it's there, it's listed in my version of this. The total is exactly $15,877. I think this is happening everywhere. It's happening at Bug Eye Harbor too, where I will have to face, I think, maybe this year, another increase. I had difficulty last year in getting insurance. It seems to be everywhere, and especially everywhere near the water. Anyway, what I'd like is for just to take a quick look at the general categories of budget. If there's any questions, we'd be glad to answer them. And then I would like someone to move to accept the budget and vote on it. One thing that was mentioned is, one budget item is plowing and salting the roads during the winter. We really had a lot of snow this last winter and way over budget. But what we budgeted for this coming year is a little bit less than what we actually spent last year. Hopefully, winter won't be so bad this coming year. So we can economize there a bit. But it is something we have to cover. It's not something we can put aside. Yes, sir.
What are the capital projects?
Those are the roads.
The actual repaving of the road? Okay.
So approximately 1 mile of road every year. We have 15 miles of road, so every 15 years you should see some fresh asphalt.
In front of your house?
Yeah.
And that also includes stormwater management projects,
Oh, okay.
which Steve's here today, and he's putting together some of those for the new year.
I don't know where it falls in here, but are most people paying their dues?
We're at about 82% for the current fiscal year, which ends June 30th, and that's average. We actually hit 80% many months ago, well, probably March or April. It's as good as it's ever been. You know, there are probably 80-some properties that are uncollectible. People that bought here in the 60s and passed, maybe the property on to their children and passed away and so on. Their mail is returned, it's, you know, and that's accounted for.
Just as a point of interest, how do we compare with our collections as the county with tax collections?
I believe it's similar, but I'm not, I think, probably the county collects at a higher rate.
Really? How much?
Gosh, I
Or
don't
you
know
know?
exactly.
I
I would guess
thought
they
they were,
collected
I thought it was
higher.
nip and tuck.
It's about the same as what you might know. It is something we spend a lot of time looking after. Maria spends a lot of her time looking after that.
Yeah, the only hope we have with some houses who, or some owners who don't pay is when they go to sell the property. It's a lien against the property and we get paid first. But as Rhea pointed out, some people don't even, they, family histories, they've even forgotten they own property here. So,
Well, and I do file claims on people, once it's 3 or more years in arrears. I think I've filed probably a dozen so far since the billing period ended. I have another 4 ready to be filed. And those are kind of time consuming, you don't just do it. I have one man that I filed a claim on a couple of years ago. His mail was returned unserved. I knew he was there. So I had the sheriff serve it. He won't come to the door. And according to the sheriff's deputy, if they don't answer the door, we can't serve it. If I can't get a judgment, I can't file a lien. So that's a case where, well, we're trying to decide what to do. But if it just goes on like this and I can never get a judgment, that'll go to the point where when he sells it, it'll be collected from the seller. So,
But I have to point out that that doesn't happen very often.
That doesn't
It's a
happen
really
very
rare-
often.
rare
it
case.
doesn't. Usually they can serve.
Most of our neighbors are pretty good about it.
Yeah,
Either
as far
pretty
as
good
mine.
about paying or not paying.
Yeah, I misunderstood what you were saying. Yeah, they're pretty good about paying the bill, I think. I have some people who pay on a monthly basis because, you know, if you're, everybody remembers, it's here probably not, but 2014, that's when the covenant fee began to adjust. Before that, it was just $10 a year. And that hit some people kind of hard, fixed income and so on. They weren't expecting to get a $100, bill from us, invoice, what have you. And so they pay maybe monthly, some of them. I had a woman come in the other day, and I filed a claim on her, and she came in. She gave me half of what was owed, and she's gonna catch it up. And I said, if this happens to you again, because they've had foreclosure, almost foreclosure and so on, I feel bad to do this to people. But at the same time, you know, I've got a responsibility to collect the money. And I say to anybody, if you're having issues, don't just let it go for a couple of years. Come and tell me. You can pay it over the course of 3 months is what I generally would suggest. But, you know, I don't want to see anybody have a claim filed on them. It's time consuming for one thing, and it adds to their cost, so.
Could we put a clause in there that it would cost them a certain extra amount of money if they don't pay them regularly, and when they sell it, costs them more?
If we do have to file, the costs do go back to the resident, not to our community. So we already do push the costs on the person that's not paying.
And realistically, if we ever have to go to court, the courts just routinely rule in favor of the HOAs and us. And so, you know, people go, well, I'll go to court and I'll fight it. They lose, and they end up paying us and court costs,
Right.
and it's
It's
not.
very rare that we
Yeah.
go to court.
I was just thinking if there was something in there that would scare them into paying regularly, that they knew they were gonna, it was gonna cost them money when they sold.
Well,
Right?
the thing that's actually scared a lot of people into coming in, you know, when you file a claim in district court, there's a form. So I fill that out. I don't file it, but I fill it out, shows all that they owe, plus the court fees. And then I send a letter with that, explaining it's not yet been filed, but it will. And I added a line in the letter about, you know, your credit rating and so on. And that has gotten a lot of people to come in prior to actually having that claim filed. So I think people forget about it sometimes. It's not that much for many people each year. You get the bill, you set it aside, and you forget that. So I do my best not to file it.
Oh, any questions on the budget or these other issues?
Or comments.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can we have a brief summation of exactly what these letters mean? In other words, budget 101 for idiots, have a brief presentation. And then, not for today, but sometime in the future.
Well, absolutely, yes. As a matter of fact, I make a pitch right now, in case you have an afternoon, it takes about 2 hours to participate in the finance committee, so they all learn by doing it every year, depending on what issues come up that year, so. You're most welcome to come and we'll really have an in-depth discussion as a finance committee.
He's not being superficial or smart. It really is the best way to learn how this is put together, what everything means, and where the numbers come from.
Plus,
And you go, well, gee, I don't know what I'm doing. Neither did anybody the first time they went.
plus to get the community's views, I mean, we're always trying to get the community's views. We're taking guesses at it, all right, but the more people involved, the better it is.
And you come in for the whole review and restructure process, and you go through it line by line. And you got a question, you ask it. And you don't like the explanation, you ask again.
It's not as bad as this.
It was when I did it.
I like the basic thing, like STD and sure what those stand for.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just the general categories and an
Yeah.
explanation.
Well, so those are our various types of income that we have.
Yeah.
Special
Understand
tax
that, but-
district is what you pay to the county. STD is the first one, special tax district. So the county collects that money and then doles it out to us for big projects like roads and a big county item.
I mean, I didn't mean to bring it up for discussion, maybe a one-pager. What do these demands say?
well, just
What do
explain,
they stand for?
yeah, just quickly explain the 4 income streams and then,
Okay, I'll run across the top right now. And then I will do cheat sheet of budget stuff, if it's of interest.
Yeah, I think he's found out this one. He got a series of these.
How many homes do we have in Drummond Point?
947. Union developed properties, or union properties, period. There's 947 houses, 460 or 80 undeveloped.
So about 1,400 properties.
Is it 1,400?
Yeah, yeah. There's more, but a lot of them are not billable, because the association owns them, the land trust owns them, and this club.
Yeah.
It's like 147 you cannot bill.
So those in the land trust are not in this account, they're not in
Correct.
the account.
Correct.
That's what I thought.
Thanks, Jack.
So, anyway, this budget paper here, the columns are a special tax district, that's the money the county collects when we pay our taxes, and then watches over it as we have big bills like the roads are being billed. SHUR, sure, state highway user revenue, that's our share of taxes on gasoline, which is nice to get. It just comes, it doesn't, there's not so many bureaucratic strings attached to it. It's very helpful. Then there's the covenant, which is the money that our association pays. Mandatory assessment is another category that the association pays. So those are the categories of income that we have.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
I just have one comment. I just, and nobody here probably is guilty of this, but I just have one comment to ask everybody in the community not to park on the asphalt on the streets. I was just driving over here on the way to this meeting, going down the Laurel Dip, and there were trucks parked there, and they were fishing on Laurel Drive. And, you know, you're in this dip, and it's hard to see, cars coming down, it's hard to see around, you have to go around. And it's also very dangerous because the fire and rescue vehicles have to get down there, and they can't get around if you're parking in the street. So I just ask people not to park in the street.
I was gonna bring that up, thank you.
Yeah.
But there's no way vehicles, fire or ambulance not going to get through. I don't know what happens when you come down that hill. You're going to back up? I'm not sure, but I had the same thought.
Yeah, you might have come the same way, yeah.
So Susan brought to our attention last meeting, I think, Susan, that somebody was blocking on Bay Drive Causeway, similar situation. She stopped to say, hey, by the way, and she got yelled at. So I sent out an email the following day about all kinds of things, but that was included. I encourage everybody, you see it, call the sheriff. Call the sheriff every single time. Don't confront people, because you never know what they're going to say or do or how they'll act. Call the sheriff every single time, and make sure you stress an ambulance cannot get through. An emergency vehicle cannot respond. And hopefully they'll come and at least give them a warning.
Well, I'd like to bring the conversation back to the budget. Does anybody want to make a motion to approve the budget?
I'll make a motion to approve the budget.
Thank you. Any second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, there's a second. All in favor of approving the budget?
Aye.
All opposed? The budget is approved, thank you very much. Now, I guess it is time. Oh, well, we were going around the room, weren't we?
America said my two
Oh,
cents.
you already said
Yeah.
it. John? Nothing. Rhea?
I guess other things, I already said I'm filing claims, that was part of my report. Audit for fiscal year 25, which is about to end. I do a lot of documents and so on, and upload them to the CPA, so that's begun. And we always want like a variety of invoices for each different account. It's a thorough 7-hour audit if they come to my office, 6 to 7 hours. So it's a thorough audit, so that would be good. And the lending library, if anybody had noticed, it was down for a couple of days. It had sprung a leak, and some books were wet. We won't talk about the ants. So all those got hauled out, and Joe Bateman, who does our kind of daily things, replaced the roof and the under, like a board underneath with shingles and all of that. Cleaned it all out, so we're back up and running. It's well used, I'll say that. People really have made good use of that lending library. That's it.
All right, good. So well, I guess now it's time to talk about,
Tony, do you want to have Steve give something on the roads?
oh, Steve, you want to talk about roads?
Sure. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have we do have an RFP out, we have an RFP out right now for pavers to bid on this year's paving project. We're going to be paving over near Harbor, and we're going to be doing Marine and Marine Terrace. Also, there's Ships Way, and then there's a portion of Leeson Cove to Mill Creek, and then Mill Creek to Leeson Cove. I think that's how it goes. So they're pretty much all in the Leeson Cove area. So we'll, what is it, July 14th?
July 16th
July 16th will be,
is the pre-bid.
right, we'll be doing the pre-bid. We also have 3 stormwater projects that we're looking at right now. One over on Johnson and Naomi. And that one is, basically it's a culvert that's blocked, so we're gonna have somebody come out and flush it. And then there's another one on 207 Leeson. We're also gonna have that culvert flushed out also, so for that resident. And then we're watching another one where there's some water building up in the residents' yard. And so we gave them a suggestion with the downspout from the roof to aim it a different way, and so they're looking to see if that helps. That's it.
Just as a matter of interest, tying it back to the budget, what has happened to the price of asphalt in the last couple of years?
It's gone up, everything's gone up. So that, the CR6, I mean, just the labor itself is gone up for some of the other work that we do around the neighborhood. You know, Grover and John Wood, they're the ones we mainly use, and I've seen the price of them.
See, obviously, I'm trying to get you guys ready for, it's gonna cost more. There's not much we can do about it. It's gonna cost more next year. Thank you. All right, let's talk about the slate of candidates. We have, Kurt Larson isn't here. Who is most qualified to address that? Me and you? I guess I'll have to wing it. We have three empty slots, or 3 positions that are coming open to be filled this year by election, and we have 3 candidates. Our candidates are Bonnie Blades, Susan York, and Adrian Stanton. That's right, and Adrian Stanton. Those are for the 3 positions that are becoming open, that are available for election. Are there any nominations from the floor? Now, if there are no nominations from the floor, it saves us the effort and the time and the money of running an election, and we can have an election by acclamation, which simply means that everybody in the room agrees that the 3 candidates can fill the 3 positions. Is there a motion to, we have a motion filled by acclamation. Is there a second? There is a second. All in favor of filling the positions by acclamation, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Well, congratulations to the winners. Yeah, and what, I've just been asked to explain how come we have these 3 positions and not the whole board. It runs in cycles so that we don't replace the entire board in any one year. And I think it's like 3 positions and 3 positions, and it just keeps things going. And even when someone gets replaced, like somebody resigns or gets sick or quits, the person who would be appointed to fill that position temporarily only fills it until the next election. Then they have to be elected to the board. So that's where we are. All right, now we've done the 2 biggies. Are there any public comments? Come on, somebody's got to have something to say.
I have a question as a new property owner. How does the volunteer, or how does it work at the beach? Who, I think is it a volunteer system? Who opens the gate at the beach? Is that?
If you want to, I'm Maria, I'm the manager, association manager.
Okay.
If you haven't stopped by my office yet, at the corner of Lake Drive and Murray Boulevard, little circular driveway, Miss
Right,
Simon,
right.
can't miss it. Stop in, and we can talk about all that. There's a woman who there's beach patrol
Right.
that randomly check for hang tags to make sure that the people using the beach actually live in Drum Point. Other than that, if they're not on duty, and those are paid positions,
Oh, okay.
if they're not on duty, so to speak, there's, I think, 4 or 5 people who volunteer to just open and close that gate. During the summer, between Memorial and Labor Day, it's open from 8 until 8. They open and close it, 8 in the morning till 8 at night. The rest of the year, it's just left open. We haven't had too many problems doing that. But stop by, and I can give you that
Okay.
information.
So if it's not open, is there a number to call? If it's not open, 8 to 8?
And you're talking about the entrance off of Beach Drive?
Yes.
Okay. If it's not open, you can give me a call at the office, and I'll come down and open it, or I'll figure out why it wasn't open. Now, Thursday morning, our day laborer, Joe Bateman, wasn't. He closes it to do a little maintenance, and that particular day might have been a little bit longer because, if anybody's noticed, there's a fence around the beach grasses that we had to put in as part of the permitting process to have the jetty put in. So it's been 2 years, and they're doing very, very well, and we were told we could take that fence down. So Thursday, he started to do that, and so did have that gate closed for a period of time.
Oh, so the gate, the entrance to the parking area was
Correct.
closed?
It was
Like,
closed.
just yesterday, I just wondered, when we
Some-
went at from
some-
8 to whatever it wasn't.
Give me a call at the office, and like I say, I'll come down. Of course, I'm there Tuesday through Friday, but I work from home on Mondays. If you call the office, I should get notification that there's a voicemail, and then I'll get in touch with somebody to open it up.
Okay.
Sometimes it runs a little late because, the people that open it on a voluntary basis,
Right.
they're volunteers, and they
Right.
might be running a little late, and so on, or whatever, things happen.
Right, right.
But just leave a message on a Monday. Saturday and Sunday, I don't check messages. Come on.
You should also stop into the office and make sure you get a welcome bucket.
That as well.
It's a very nice bucket.
There's at least, there's still a bottle of wine in that welcome bucket. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
That's true.
But I didn't mean to.
But it's true. There is a lot.
Is that where we also get the?
Yes. If you haven't been by my office, stop in and we can talk about the fees. I like to have everybody come in when they're new because I need contact information. Some people have rental properties here or vacation homes and what have you. So I want to make sure I have the contact information, phone number, email address, and then I can also talk to you about the fees in Drum Point because sometimes those can be confusing. And so that's my ulterior motive for wanting you to come in, and as a reward, you're welcome.
Any other comments, questions? I would like to encourage everybody to show up at the next general membership meeting because the Think Big Network people will be here. And they bring refreshments. So, and it's in the morning, so I'm sure that it'll be donuts and coffee.
It's not beer and wine.
That's the after party.
You know, they'll bring some refreshments and they'll make it, I think they said it's about a half-hour presentation.
He has really told something.
Well, it's something like that, but.
Will
Oh,
that be on a Saturday morning?
I believe that's a Saturday.
yeah, that's always a Saturday, yes, that's right.
What is the date?
We don't
We
have
don't
a date.
have,
But it will be a Saturday.
it will be a Saturday, and it will be in the morning, and it will be here, simply because we have no place else to go. No. Yes, sir.
Just a reminder that July 5th is Drum Point Day.
Yes.
So there's, the band is Water's Edge, kind of 70s, 80s blues rock, so it's supposed to be a good band from somewhere on the other side of the river.
Can you remind people what time that is?
Now you gotta ask
Well,
Fern, but
the two, is it
it's
two to
like
five?
I think it's
2
2
to
two
7.
to 7, yeah.
The gate will be open all day.
Two until you get thrown
Yeah,
out.
and then, yeah, the band starts playing mid-afternoon, and then there's the food service, it starts like about 4:30, 5:30.
4 to 5.
2 to 7. 2 to 7.
Oh, 2 to 7, okay,
Yeah.
2 to 7, got it.
So this is for
Anything
the
else?
property owners or for the club?
It's for everybody. Everybody that lives in Drum Point.
I know this question's gonna come up on Facebook probably. I'm guessing on July 4th for fireworks, the gates are closed because the non-members may mess one year, right? Is that still?
Yeah, I mean, quite a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
And then they didn't leave, so. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we had to turn people out at like midnight, yeah, it was rocking.
okay, I'll find another spot. And then, just real quick, I know there's a lot of landscapers in the neighborhood, so I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I found a 13-year-old who's trying to start a summer job. He mows lawns and weed whacks, and he's been doing my yard because I can afford him, I can't afford the landscaper. So his mom made him little business cards. If anybody's been looking for a,
Could you put it on the Facebook page?
yeah, his mother just put it up on there. But like I say, it's hard because of the other landscapers. I don't want to say too much and have a competition, but I just thought I'd bring the cards. for him.
I asked if people asking about, if you want to leave one with me, I'll put it on the
Okay,
bulletin
yeah,
board.
I'll make a point. I would like that.
All right, anything else? Well, as there is nothing else, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending. Meeting's adjourned.